affiliation in Africa's emerging markets as a trusted source of players acquisition.
So good afternoon, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm exceptionally excited about this panel because we already have some powerhouses on the stage, no pressure. So we're going to be talking about affiliation in Africa's emerging markets and its trusted source for player acquisition. Definitely a heated topic, especially with Africa having such diverse GEOs. Can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you. Can you guys hear us? Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're going to have to shout. Okay, I'm going to talk a lot louder. So let me start that again. Just talking about African emerging market, which is extremely exciting because, as you know, South Africa is completely different to the rest of the world and it has different strategies and different regulations. It's almost impossible to keep up with them. So I think some insights and inputs is going to be amazing. And so to welcome our guests, we have the fabulous Liliana Johnstone.
Thank you so much
from Affiverse. This is a wealth of knowledge. It's an honor to have you. We have Charles Herisson. Very nice to have you with us. I'm excited to hear from you. And again, thank you for joining us and joining from the other side of the world again.
Thank you.
Liliana Almeida, who's definitely made some strides in the African markets, and we're excited to hear your insights. So first of all, we'll talk about why do we need affiliates in the African market? And obviously that's quite a basic question for those coming from tier ones, but with the regulations, how do we navigate around those regulations and how do we get affiliates, especially for regulated markets? I want to give that to you, Liliana.
Thank you very much for passing that to me. I think South Africa is a very unique ecosystem because users have kind of bypassed computers and gone straight to mobile, number one, whereas in tier one countries, desktop was very much kind of the transgression of how gaming started. But also people are very community-led here. So people actually still go with word of mouth. They look at billboards, they listen to the radio. And I think brands that want to actually launch and scale here need to have a very clear strategy of who their target audience is and who they're actually going after. And I think you can't just launch and go and put a little bit of money behind marketing and hope for the best. You really do need to think about the ecosystem that you're launching into. So for me, I'd say anybody that's looking to actually grow an online brand here, there's a lot of forethought and planning that needs to happen, maybe more so than what you would do in other countries where it's a little bit more regulated. But that's my take on it.
I love that. I'm going to keep you going on that one, and then I'm going to hand it over to Charles. So the big question then is, okay, well, we've got a billboard, or we're doing some on-the-ground marketing with agents. How does that translate into affiliation?
So I think here in this country, people are very socially driven. Everybody's on Facebook. I think making your customer into brand ambassadors. I think you've got to think about affiliate differently here. It's not the same as how it is. You're not going to be looking for SEO sites. You're not going to be looking for traditional type affiliates. You're actually going to be looking for community marketers and people that have data I met a company over there, they've built a really great voucher code site. They plugged into like the cell phone network. Those are the types of partners and partnerships that you're going to be looking for. And I think with all the marketing budget that you have, you're still not going to be able to reach into the gunnels of all of the communities that are here in South Africa and also all of the different cultures. Because this is a real big melting pot and there's, each ICP or customer is going to have a very different need and want from the brand that's trying to target them. So just having a very, very clear strategy of what you're doing, I think is super important here.
Thank you. And so as I said, Charles, I want to throw the next one to you. Just talking about how affiliates and operators are going to work together and that partnership. And as Liliana said, obviously, who are your segments, who you're targeting, that collaboration is immense. And how would you suggest tackling that?
I think that collaboration between affiliates and brands is one of the most important key aspects of the success of any brands. Because the company, the operators know his own brand, his own value, but the affiliates know what's happening on the ground. So the affiliates should be, let's say, a part of the knowledge process inside the company. Because the affiliate can bring a lot of knowledge about customer behavior, customer preferences, opportunity coming, above all because affiliates usually work with different brands. Working with different brands, you can have a full understanding of what works well with some operators and what works well with another one. So you bring new knowledge inside the company. And then you have even a close feedback from your community, because usually this influencer works a lot of social media, so they have direct, immediate feedback. That is not a process that can happen inside a company. So I believe that the cooperation is really important, and the respect and trust is the most important things. So I like when operators guest affiliates inside the office, and they organize like a 1 day full immersion, meet in person, eat together, and spends time analyzing what's the market. So I believe this is the best approach to work together and give a lot of knowledge, a lot of power, a lot of trust.
Amazing, thank you. Liliana, I know this is also something that you're super passionate about with regards to working with operators. I know you've advocated this for a while already, and the lack of cooperation between affiliates and how much space there is. Can you also just kind of explain to us how affiliation and building not just quick player acquisition, quick wins, how your operations with affiliates and operators can help build long-term meaningful partnerships and brands for new operators in emerging markets, and what that looks like to you?
Like my colleague said, this is a cooperation. So every time you engage with an affiliate expecting just numbers or performance, you're lacking half of the value that they bring in. Affiliates, most of the time, like Charles said, they work with several operators. They work with multi markets, so they understand the differences and what works and what not works. And they have structures, bigger structure, that most of the time an operator doesn't. So it depends on the cycle of a brand. If you are entering a market and you want to scale it, but you just want to tap in and understand what can you do, affiliate can help. But if you want to also establish yourself and keep your market share because you are a market leader, you may not need a performance affiliate, but you need them to occupy the space from your competitors. So there's a lot of types of affiliates, and one should not replace others. You should combine them. So like Leanne said, Africa is very, very community driven. So you need local affiliates, you need local partners. But if you want to scale, you need to add up. But sometimes volume is not enough. You need expertise. You need to understand that SMS or some types of channel, they make a difference. So you have to combine it all, including the brand. So a lot of things at motion at the same time.
I guess Leanne is itching too.
I know, I love what you said, because a lot of brands here in South Africa spend a lot of money on branding, and that's top of funnel. But what you actually want affiliates to do is get deeper into that awareness consideration phase and eventually the purchase phase. And if you're looking at different types of affiliates, it's not going to be traditional SEO sites because they don't work here. So you need to be digging in the weeds and actually looking at your data and your analytics and understanding where a customer is coming to you from prior and after your site, and then closing that feedback loop, which is what Charles said. It's very, very important to actually leverage affiliate partners to understand how to better your competitors.
Thank you. And just a question that I get a lot from people who are wanting to enter South Africa. Well, they're like, where do we start with affiliates? Because everyone is so used to your traditional SEO affiliates. And as you've explained, it's not the same here. So the question is, where do they even start? And I know, Charles, you also want to talk about, what's the difference between having an in-house team versus a third party? What are the advantages and disadvantages if you three would like to have your thoughts about that?
So I believe in balance in life for every aspect, even in strategy. So if you have a balance of an internal team and an external, maybe affiliate network that can help you even better than a single affiliate, you can create, let's say, new strategy together. You can discover a new way to spot your brands and to communicate with your customer. And it's not just in terms of acquisition, but the biggest benefit, in my opinion, is in terms of maintenance and improvement of the single value of every customer. So doing this job together, you can create an amazing experience for your own customer. At the end, the best ambassador and the best affiliate will be your own customer. So you should try to move your customer in a kind of affiliate in some way. And the affiliate is someone that wants, in some way, promote your brands. But to create this kind of bond and relationship, you need someone that can give you the insight. And insight comes always from the affiliates.
I gotta say, I mean, I'm an agency, so I'm gonna jump in here. The reason why you pay an agency is because you want to get external advice. Okay, you want to leverage the strategy that the team in the agency has, spent years learning and implementing and executing, and you also want to leverage your agency to extend your own internal expertise. Like you're going to have an internal affiliate account manager, but that affiliate account manager is only looking at your brand. They're not seeing what's happening across multiple brands, like Charles said, and so you don't have to either have it in-house or external, but you can leverage an agency to actually give you some really great insights, look at your program with fresh eyes, and actually help to see what you're not seeing. Because you get sight blind. When you're looking at your own data, your own marketing campaigns, you kind of like fall into the trap of doing the same things over and over again. And hiring an agency for a quick consultancy piece to come in and actually go, what are we doing wrong? What are we missing? Can be super, super valuable.
If I can just to explain a real example in life, just 1 week ago, we were in one of the biggest office, maybe worldwide, of some operator, making an amazing meeting with all the internal top manager. So starting from traders, arriving to CRM, top management of the company, head of sales, and everyone were listing, in this case, a group of tipsters, because in that market, they work a lot with tipsters. And the tipster at the end is a community builder. So they were listing from the tipster which market we miss, which kind of proposition we don't have, which kind of booster we have to create for our own bonus. So this is something can come for free from a tipster. So this is a big part of value that you get from free from affiliates. Another big value is that when you have, let's say, affiliates working for you, you just pay them a small part of the real benefit that they give you. Because at the end, a lot of these guy, potential customer, doesn't come to the link, and they go just with their own hands. And so this is, I think, an amazing way to work, because affiliates are really important, but they cannot stay alone. Because otherwise, if they stay alone, they don't produce good number. They just make number that at the end could be a cost and not an opportunity.
Thank you. And talking about tipsters, obviously you're getting the insights on what your consumers want. Liliana, for you, localization, how important is it? And how do we manage with, for example, in South Africa, where we have 11 official languages and multitudes of cultural nuances? How do you even start? What is your view on this?
Not only in South Africa or Africa, it's everywhere. Localization is not just about payment method or language. It's about the consumer, is how they move, because the end game for everyone will be the same, but the way they do it is different. So you have to understand the culture, you have to understand the country itself and apply to it. So if you have, it's easy, of course, to have when you have big teams and you have big product teams to adjust and to talk to each 11 language. But you have to start small, and you have to understand that the local affiliates are the ones that can help you with that. And then when you find your sweet spot, you scale it. So this is just, localization is the key for people to relate to your brand. If you're speaking the same language to everyone, it won't be relatable. So it will be on the second part. The same brand that works in South Africa, if it wants to expand to Mozambique, they have to know that in South Africa you have APL, that you have several sports going on, but Mozambique you don't. You have football, soccer, but this is how you relate. This is how you do sponsors. This is how you do strategic sponsor. You go to a particular club or league, but you do understand what ticks that market. So localization, not only for Africa, worldwide, is essential.
I actually think that's one of the fabulous things about South Africa. There's a saying here, local is lekker. And here you have the opportunity to actually take your brand and take it down to grassroots levels and actually get involved in things that bigger brands in other countries probably don't. And that actually builds a USP for your brand. And it allows you to get into really becoming, not localized, but getting into the niches. So if I just say to, how many operators are in the audience? Is there any operators? Okay. You're probably targeting, 21-year-olds to 45-year-olds. Those demographics are very, very different. A Gen Z 21-year-old is going to want a completely different experience to a 45-year-old who wants to watch rugby on the weekend. So how are you using and leveraging your affiliates to actually reach into those niche communities? I think that's what a lot of brands here aren't thinking about, but should.
Thank you so much. So, going a little bit further down the rabbit hole, obviously South Africa has a lot of regulations. So as we've mentioned, SEO is not an option, which makes people a little bit scared because that's what we're familiar with. How do operators find the SMS channels, the other sources of player acquisition that we're not traditionally used to in other markets?
I mean, you really have to immerse yourself into the community. Like, I'm here for 2 weeks and I have looked at every single media channel. I'm listening to every single radio channel. I'm watching every single TV channel as I flick through. I'm understanding what's happening in the market. And I think digital marketers that are working here need to be looking at that, and they need to be going to events, and not events in the gaming industry only. They need to be going to other events. I had a really fabulous conversation with somebody this morning from Sigma. And I said, you know what would be great is if we actually started to invite talent in from, tertiary education and actually start to educate people and build narrative around what brands are doing to actually stimulate job creation. Jobs in this country are, they're very difficult to get. So this is an industry that can actually contribute and actually do good with the branding and the marketing campaigns that they're doing. And think a little bit differently about just talking about features, but actually talk about benefits. So when you're marketing your brand, you don't just talk about what does the platform offer you, what games, what offer. Talk about some of the features and benefits of what the company does as well.
Exactly. I think that's quite interesting. You're sort of touching on CSI. And Unilever, of course, it's a very different industry, but their stat is that 80% of the youth market, if they feel like if a brand has a purpose, they're more likely to choose your brand.
100%.
So I'm glad that you're touching on that. That needs to be a bit more inclusive and tapping into that generation and that thinking. What is your experience? I want to open up to the two of you with the youth market and what they're responding to.
It's exactly that. Previous you had a panel that was really, really interesting because he combined or asked if the offline and the online advertising would work, or one cannot exist without the other. So you have to combine both. You have the sponsorships and the affiliates and the media. You cannot be on your own. You cannot just bring the external and international players without engaging the local ones. So, of course, one, it's easier to track and measure, and the other one becomes difficult. My question is, does it really? Because there's no state-of-the-art or outdated ways. It's just where the audience is where you have to be. So if you have to be local with tablets and give you jerseys, T-shirts, and sign-ins, be there, because United States does it. And it's supposed to be a very advanced kind of country. So what it can be done here too. So I think is just important is to understand and combine everything, and if it works, maintain it. If it not, leave it.
But even think about everyday life, because you're right. I was here and I was thinking every single restaurant that I've gone out to eat at has had a point of sale machine, and on the back of that point of sale machine ticket, there's an opportunity to put your brand, or to put a code, or to bridge that online and offline experience. And I think that's something really cool that's unique to this market, but I'm not really seeing a lot of brands exploit it.
One thing that is fantastic here in South Africa, in Africa too, it's called the super apps.
Yes.
Super apps are a thing that America doesn't have it, Europe doesn't have it, and here, because of the cost of data, they need it. It's incredible for the usage because you only have to open one app and you have all the service that you choose. So this is incredible opportunity for the brands to tap in.
Amazing. So we have just over 1 minute. So I want to ask you all to just give a quick 10-second wrap-up of your thoughts on this panel and some top advice that you can give.
Should we start with the road? Oh, you can start with me. I think I've spoken enough, but what I would do if I was launching a brand in South Africa is I'd get real down low and dirty and get into the grassroots opportunities, because one, they're going to be cost effective. Two, they're going to be niches that your brand awareness isn't touching. And three, I would think about how do you bridge that offline online experience, because I think that's what's going to really work here. And think about multi-channel. So audio is a really, really good channel. Podcasts, it's super easy and quick to launch a podcast, build a following, actively market it, leverage those grassroots players to come on the show. Those are some of the creative things that I would be doing as a brand
Amazing.
manager.
Thank you. And Charles?
Thanks. I want to adjust for a quick things. If you want to launch a market, you should have somebody inside your company that is coming from that market. Absolutely, first rules.
Absolutely.
That's it. No, seriously, this is
All
it.
right, so thank you very much. Some definitely amazing insights. I love what you closed with, Liliana. I'm going to put that for you as I think an amazing insight. Thank you so much for joining us on the stage. I'm sure if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to the panelists. I'm sure you'll be around for a couple more hours. And thank you so much for joining.